Hello, my dear students, and this time I am back with Chapter 6 The Emergence of the Regional Cultures, where we will understand these regional cultures, their language, their local cult, their dance forms, the paintings. So let's begin the chapter. Now, medieval period, it witnessed the rise of different culture. Each region had its own language, had its own different kind of food, clothes, music, poetry, dance. So, not the languages which emerged during the medieval period is Malayalam, Gujarati, Marathi, Kannada, Bangla, Oriya, Assamese, and Rajasthani. A new language, Urdu, also got developed in the military camps, and this was a mixture of Arabic and Persian languages. Now, these regional languages they came to be used in the administration. So, the important thing to remember here is that Urdu it was a new language which was a mixture of Arabic and the Persian, and it developed in the military camps. Now, development of languages. So, we'll be talking about Malayalam, then is Hindi, then is Marathi, Punjabi, and Telugu. So let's start with the Malayalam. Now, number one, the Chira dynasty with their kingdom in the present day Kerala, they introduced the local Malayalam in their official records and the inscriptions. Now this मलयालम लैंग्वेज जो है इसको चीरा डायनेस्टी ने इंट्रोड्यूस की और चीरा डायनेस्टी जो है आज आपके प्रेजेंट डे केरला में आप इनको जो है इनका किंगडम मान सकते हो एंड मलयालम वाज आल्सो इंस्पायर्ड बाय संस्कृत and some of the literary works in Malayalam were borrowed from the Sanskrit literature, particularly epics. So we find some interesting integration of the Sanskrit traditions and the regional languages. Then comes Hindi. Now, Hindi emerged as a language in the medieval India. It emerged as a language between 7th to 10th century in the form of Brij Bhasha. That was a dialect spoken in and around Mathura region during the time of Akbar. Now, if we talk about the Hindi poets, so one is Goswami Tulsidas, the writer of Ramcharitramanas. Then is Surdas, who also composed the Sursagar. Then is Marathi. Now, Marathi was specially patronized by the Bahmani rulers, and they used Marathi as the administrative language in their kingdom. Then is the Bhakti saints enriched the Marathi language by composing Bhakti poems and songs in Marathi. Now, the important Bhakti saints in Marathi who wrote their beautiful songs and poems in Marathi were Janeshwar, Tukaram, Namdev, and Eknath. Right, then is Punjabi. Now, Punjabi also developed as a language in the medieval period, and the Sikh gurus enriched it. Now, the script of the Punjabi language is Gurmukhi. Many Muslim writers, they wrote in Punjabi. Now, the writings by these Muslim writers came to be known as Qissa, and the most important is the Heer Ranjha written by Waris Shah. However, बच्चे हीर रांझा जो है सबसे पहले लिखने वाले दामोदर थे, बट इसको इतना ज़्यादा पॉपुलर करने वाले वारिस शाह थे, right? Now about Telugu. Now this language was patronized by Vijayanagar kingdom, and one of the most important rulers was Krishnadeva Raya, who greatly contributed to the growth of Telugu. He himself was a great poet who wrote Amukta Malyada, and this describes in detail the duties of the king. Now, Tenali Raman, you must have seen the serial also. That was the famous court poet and the great wise man of Krishnadeva Raya. He was a wise man of great wit. Right? So now let's do all the languages in one shot. Now, first we did Malayalam. That was introduced by the Chira dynasty in Kerala. Then we did Hindi. Hindi also emerged as one of the language in the medieval period in the form of Brij Bhasha in and around Mathura. The two important Hindi writers is Goswami Tulsidas, the author of Ramcharitramanas, and Surdas, the author of Sursagar. Then is your Marathi. That was introduced by the Bahmani rulers, and the most important people who actually enriched this language was the Bhakti saints, who were Janeshwar, Tukaram, Namdev, and Eknath. Okay, there was a repetition of one name. Then comes Punjabi. Where is my thing? Okay, it's here. Now, then comes Punjabi. The script is Gurmukhi, and I also told you about Kissa. Now, Kissa means the writings by the Muslim writers, right? So they came to be known as Kissa, and the most important is Heer Ranjha, written by Varisa. Then is Telugu, that was introduced by Vijayanagar Empire and specially by Krishna Deva Raya. He himself wrote the book by the name of Amyukta Malyada, which talks about the duties of the king in detail. So very quickly, Malayalam by the Chira dynasty, Hindi as a bridge bhasha in and around Mathura, Marathi by the Bahmani rulers, and Telugu by the Vijayanagar Empire and especially by Krishna Deva Raya. Now, so let's talk about the rise of local cultures, especially the Jagannath cult and the Rajputs of the Rajputana. Now, the worship of Lord Jagannath, the name for Vishnu, at Puri in Odisha. Now, in 12th century, now this was by the rulers of the Gang dynasty. Now, one of the rulers of the Gang dynasty, named as Anantavarman, decided to set up a temple at Puri to worship Lord Jagannath. The rulers of Odisha, they dedicated their kingdom to this god and ruled as the deputy of their god. Matlab, this became so important that even kings ruled as the deputy of the god, as the assistant of this cult. Now, first it was worshipped by the local tribe people of Odisha, and later it was made the official deity of this region. So, worship of Lord Jagannath, named for Vishnu, and it was by the Gang dynasty ruler named the Anantavarman. He made this temple at Puri to worship Lord Jagannath, and the rulers of Odisha dedicated themselves as the deputy of this god. Right? Then we talk about the Rajputs of Rajputana. All over Rajasthan, different Rajput clans had political control. Now, the main traditions or the main ideas developed by Rajput were those of the heroism, valor and sacrifices, because आप लोगों ने मुगल एम्पायर भी की थी, तो बैटल ऑफ हल्दी घाटी हमने की है, हमने राजपूत्स किए हैं. So they were actually, they were characterized by their heroic, by their being as, the military glory or the heroic or their valor, their sacrifices. So even the songs that were being sung, they were the songs of the stories which describe the heroic sacrifices in the battlefield, tales of the military glory, loyalty to their clan, to their particular clan and the land. Now, women here also in the Rajput history, they are also portrayed as heroic figures. Now, they were ready to immolate or burn themselves on the funeral pyre of their husband by jumping into the sacred fire pit to protect their honor from the enemies in the face of defeat of their men. Now, this practice was known as Johar, and this also depicted the brave spirit and the supreme dedication of the Rajput woman. These legends and stories of Rajput heroism formed a very different culture of the Rajasthan. So this is about the Rajputs of the Rajputana. Now, the next topic that we will be talking about is the flourishing dance forms. So we'll be talking about Bharatnatyam, Kathakali, then is Kuchipudi, then is Odissi and Kathak. So let's start with das. Now, first is Bharatnatyam. Now, just kind of remember the attire of this. Now, Bharatnatyam, it actually developed in South India and particularly in Tamil Nadu. So we have the Chol Empire in Tamil Nadu. So we should remember that this dance form was patronized by the Chola. So we'll remember this because Chol Empire was basically based in Just hold on, just hold on. So it was basically by the Chol Empire that we must remember. So Bharatnatyam, it started in South India, particularly in Tamil Nadu. It started as a temple dance. Now the girls who performed this dance were called as the Devadasis, and they devoted their entire life to the service of deity. Now in the 20th century, the dance form came to be performed outside the temple. Otherwise, Bharatnatyam was practiced as a temple dance, and the girls who performed this dance were called as Devadasis, and this dance form was patronized by the Chol Empire. So it was only after the 20th century that dance came to be performed outside the temple. So Bharatnatyam, Tamil Nadu, temple dance, Devdasis, and the Chol Empire. Now comes your Kathakali. Now, as we talked about the Bharatnatyam, I told you that that form developed in Tamil Nadu, but Kathakali developed in Kerala. Now, if you can just see from this picture, it is marked by elaborate makeup, colorful costumes. So, this dance form generally takes up stories from the epics, that is the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, and it depicts the truth, the victory of truth over the evil. So Kathakali in Kerala, elaborate makeup, colorful costumes, right? Now is Kuchipudi. Now that also arose as a dance form in Andhra Pradesh. Now this dance form actually combines music, dance, acting to depict scenes from the epics and other mythologies. Now comes your Odissi. That is again it originated from Odisha, and this was based on the devotion to Lord Krishna. It is a soft and a graceful dance which was accompanied by melodious music and song, basically sung in the Oriya language. So then the last one is Kathak. Now Kathak originated as the art of storytelling in the temples of North India. Now what do you call storytelling in Hindi? That's called as a katha. So from the katha emerged the word Kathak, right? So that means the art of storytelling in the temples of North India. Now, through this description, the legends of Radha Krishna were enacted, and because of the patronage of the kings and the nobles, Kathak began to be performed in the courts, and it got developed into two gharanas or tradition. Now, one in the court of Rajasthan and the other in Lucknow. So, intricate and rapid footwear, elaborate costume, enactment of the stories became the special feature of this dance form. So let's just, revise these dances in one go. Now, first is your Bharatnatyam that emerged in Tamil Nadu as a temple dance during the Chola Empire, and the girls who performed this dance was called as Devadasis. Then is Kathakali that developed from Kerala. The themes were from the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata. Then is Kuchipudi again from Andhra Pradesh, and the themes were from the epics. Odissi from the area Odisha, and this is devotion to the Lord Krishna. Kathak, that comes from the word katha. Katha means the art of storytelling in the temples of North India, and it developed into two gharanas, one in the Rajasthan, the other in Lucknow. Now, so there's a special, case study about Bengal Regional Center. So let me talk about that. Now, variety of songs, dances, language, literature has always been the pride of Bengal. Now, one is their language, that is Bangla. Bangla is a distinct language of Bengal, and it has also been derived from Sanskrit, and Bangla has these words from Persian, tribal, and the European languages. So, an important book of Bangla is Geet Govinda, that is based on the divine couple of Krishna and Radha, that enriched Bangla language and culture. Now, the folk musical instruments that can be asked like bansi or flute, bihala, violin, iktara, one string instrument, classical musical instruments like sitar, sarod, tanpura, tabla, harmonium, all this contributed to the. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'll just get that here. I'll get the eraser ठीक है, I'm so sorry. It just kind of went that way. All right. Now this is important to learn. Like all your classical music instruments, like sitar, sarod, tanpura, tabla, harmonium, all this contributed to the richness of the Bangla music. Then you also have the jatra. That is like a folk drama. Now, jatra is a folk drama, and what is it based on? It is based on the social and the historical themes that was regularly performed and appreciated in Bengal. Now, temple building was also an important part of their culture, and fish was also one of their distinctive food habits. Now, this has never been found in any part of India, but even the Brahmins in the Bengal, they would consume fish. All right, now this is the last part of our chapter, that is the painting. So let's talk about paintings. Now, the Mughal rulers, they were very fond of painting. They were the great patrons of if I could just see great patrons of painting, and the most important contribution is the miniature paintings. So miniature paintings क्या होती हैं? They are basically small size paintings which are done in watercolor on cloth or paper. Though they are just small sized paintings. So what are the themes for these paintings? One, it could be the court scenes, then the scenes of the battlefield, then is hunting, then is the marriage parties, and themes from the social life. So this miniature painting was something which was started by the Mughals. Small size paintings done in the watercolor on cloth and paper, and themes I told you, the court scenes or the scenes from the battlefield, hunting, marriage parties, or any kind of themes from the social life. So this is an example of the miniature painting where I've just shown you that how these paintings have depicted the court life, or they have depicted how the administration was during the time of your Mughals. The other is the portrait painting, and I think when it comes to portrait painting, Jahangir is the name that we normally associate with the portrait painting. But with the decline of the Mughal Empire, many artists and painters, they moved to the Rajput court of Rajasthan and the foothills of the Himalayas. So that means they developed two kind of gharanas of these miniature paintings. One of the Rajputana, the other is the Kangra school of miniature. Now we'll be talking in detail about these schools in your grade 8. So we can say that medieval India saw an emergence of great regional culture. Now these regional cultural traits emerge as a result of the mixing of the local traditions with the ideas from the other parts of the subcontinent. An example you've seen, maybe the languages, maybe the painting, maybe the dance forms, and all this enriched the unique diversity of India. And that is why we say unity in diversity, because obviously when it comes to languages, the paintings or the dances, there is lot of diversity, but that added to the unique diversity of India. So this is all I have for you this time. So this is the chapter on which is your chapter 6, which talks about the regional cultures. So if you have any problem, you want to ask any aspect of this chapter, you can comment me, or any other video that you really want me to make for you, please ask me in the comment box. Definitely I'll do the same. See you again with a new video very soon. Bye bye.